Hello students, welcome to the learning of lesson 4. Log on to Animate CC. My dear students, this chapter is all about a software whose name is Animate CC. The topic defines that enter into the world of animation building through Animate CC. So Animate CC is a software which you will use for creating world-class, better interactive animations. Those animations you can use in websites, you can use in online advertisements, you can use them into your developed games, etc. It's a very interesting software to work to create interactive animations. Let us first know a little history of this software. Actually, the Animate CC name was not the final name, the first name. It was earlier known as Future Splash Animator. Future Splash Animator, which was developed by a company whose name was Future Wave. Later on, this company was acquired by Adobe Systems in 2005, and this software was then known as Adobe Macromedia Flash. And before few years, in 2016, it is again renamed as Animate CC by Adobe company. Dear students, Adobe is a very popular company in the field of software development. It is an American-based multinational software company whose headquarters is in San Jose, California. The Adobe is also known for, we can say best known for its Adobe Flash web software, Photoshop, an image editing software, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Acrobat Reader, PDF, portable document formats, creative suites, etc. So this was a little about Adobe. The inventors of this company were John Warnock and Charles Geschke. They have started this company in 1982 and developed the world-known best softwares and serving the world in the field of computers. My dear students, by using this Animate CC program, you can create interactive animations which are vector-based programs. Vector-based programs means the graphics, the quality of the graphics will not compromise when the size of the graphics will be rescaled. Rescaled means increasing the size or decreasing the size. You can see many times you have done it in your smartphones. When you try to enlarge an image, after an extent the image becomes rough, it becomes blur. So that application is not actually a vector based application, but in Animate CC the objects which you will create, that all will be vector, means they can be scalable and there will be no compromise in the quality of the graphics. So let us students understand how to work in Animate CC. This time I am giving you the working overview with the help of the pages in the chapter in the book. Next time I'll try to give you a practical based explanation video for this chapter. As soon as it will be available to me, I will show you practically how things are working in Animate CC. So let us start the chapter. Yes, so first of all students, to open Animate software, you have to click on Start, then refer to All Programs, there you will get the option Adobe Animate CC. Click on it, the opening screen appears. This is the opening screen. This will appear in front of you. It will cover many options. You have to select the appropriate option for yourself and then move on. So click on the ActionScript 3.0 under create new section to open the animate document. So this is create new section. Here it is written create new, and in this section you will get an option ActionScript 3.0. you have to click on that. After that, students, you will get this screen. This is the workspace of Animate CC. This workspace is comprises of many components like menu bar, tools panel, library, property inspector, timeline, stage. All these components have their different properties. The main work area in this workspace is the stage. Stage is white rectangular area where we keep our objects for building the animation. To work on the stage, there are several different components like menu bar is there. The menu bar will provide control over various common functions like opening and closing of the documents, and some other features like copying, pasting, and calling up specific panels, any panels. These are the panels if you want to show or hide any particular panel. So all these commands you will get from here, from the menu bar. Just beside the menu bar you will get a tools panel. This is the tools panel, which is actually a set of various tools for working onto the stage. It will provide you graphical tools like line, rectangle, squares to build up the geometrical shapes. It also provides you brushes and color swatches to color your objects. It provides you tools for writing onto the stage. It provides you tools for selecting objects onto the stage, etc. So this tools panel is a complete set of tools. One thing more, when you select any of the tool from here, its related options will be displayed into the option sections. The option sections, it displays modifiers for the currently selected tools. Modifiers affect the tool's painting or editing operations. Okay, so this is about the tools panel. Next is the main most important component of the Animate workspace is the timeline. Timeline is a rectangular window that is present at the bottom of the stage. Bottom of the stage. This is the stage. Bottom of the stage. Here it is the timeline. Okay. It is the area where one controls the sequencing and timing of graphics and other elements of a movie. From here you can set the sequence of the objects, means which object will come first, which will come later on. This sequence you can set from here. Also you can set the timing of the object to be displayed onto the screen. Means if the object is displayed for 2 seconds and you want it to be displayed for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, so that timing also you can set from the timeline only. So timeline is the most important part of the workspace. It is the area from where we control our movie or animation which we are creating. Frames. Animations in Animate are created with the help of frames. Frame is defined as the little rectangular cells that appear on the timeline. Yes, my dear students, if look into your book, this part you will get various same size of rectangular blocks. Each block is representing a frame. Actually, what is the concept behind frames? Animation is what actually? Animation is a continuous playing of still images. Okay, continuous playing of still images. So many images are kept one over one like a stack, and when you flip over from the last page to first page, if there is any displacement in the position of the object, so it will look like a animation. So here all those pages which you are using by creating a manual animation, the same pages are reflected here as a frame. So frame is that page which contains any object for the animation. Okay. Every fifth frame displays a number which you can find on the top of the timeline. So you can count and control your frames by watching their numbers. The numbers are repeating every fifth frame in the multiples of 5. Means between two numbers there are 5 frames. So in this way you can check out your frames for further building your animation. Now next is the keyframe. Keyframes are special types of frames where we define some changes to an object's properties for an animation like position, color, shapes, etc. Yes, students, when you create any animation, first of all you will create the drawing or you place the objects onto the frames one by one, and to show any changes is actually the animation, and changes where the changes which type of changes is we are talking about, changes in the position, changes in the colors, changes in the shape, etc. Means position from left to right, up down, okay, a little bit shifting, color from red to white, black, blue, converting from one color to another, converting from triangle to square, then to rectangle, then to a hexagon. So all these type of changings are set by the keyframes. I'll tell you in the practical video how to set the keyframes. So keyframes are that special frames which reflects any kind of changes into the objects. The changes could be related to the position, colors or shapes, etc. Layers. Layers are like transparent sheets stacked on top of one another, each containing a different image that appears on the stage. Yes, when you become a professional animator, then you will create your animations in different layers. Layers are what? Suppose just imagine a scene of a sunset. There are mountains, some trees are there, a sun is there which is setting down. So now just imagine one page is having the drawing of trees. It is a transparent page, okay, trees are drawn. The next page is having the drawing of mountains, the mountains only. Another one more sheet is there which is having the diagram of a sun which is setting down. When you keep all the sheets one by one together, then what is happening now? We are watching a complete scenery, the sun with the mountains and trees, complete scenery. So this is what the chapter wants to tell us, that layers are like transparent sheets stacked one on top of one another. Means we will create objects on different sheets and we will keep them one on top of one another, so it will look a complete scene. Now what is the benefit of using the layers? Why do we use layers? So the advantages of layer is what? If you want to do some changes into the tree part of the scene, then there are more chances that the mountain is also affected. If you want to erase any part of the tree or color any part of the tree, so it may be possible the other parts of the complete scenery is getting affected. So to reduce this, we keep different objects on different sheets, so that if any editing required, we will do the editing on that particular object only, on a particular layer only, and other sheets, other frames, other layers will be unaffected. So this is what the concept behind the layers. Playhead. The playhead indicates the current frame displayed on the stage. It is represented by a red frame and a red vertical line. Yes, here you can see a red frame rectangular box which is having a dark red border line. This is the playhead. What is the work of this playhead? To indicate the current frame displayed on the stage. Means it is a movable element. It will move from the starting point to the ending point, and wherever it is onto the timeline, it shows that particular number of frame. Its work is to display that you are on this particular number of frame. So this is the work of playhead. It moves from left to right on the timeline as the movie proceeds through the frames. The speed of the playhead movements is based on the frame rate settings. Yes, the movement of this frame, this playhead, you can set it by setting the frame rate. Frame rate means number of frames to be displayed in a particular time. For example, 5 frames in 1 second, so that is the frame rate, 5 frames per second. You can increase or decrease it also. If you will increase it, suppose like 10 frames per second, so the frames will be moves faster because they have to cover total 10 frames in 1 second. And if you reduce it, suppose for example 2 frames per second, from 5 frames per second to 2 frames per second, then it means that you are making the movie slower in comparison to because 5 frames are shifting in 1 second earlier, now only 2 frames are shifting, means 1 frame is there for 2.5 seconds, so it will delay the object onto the screen. So by watching your requirements, you can set the frame rate according to the animation. Now before building the animation, we have to set the document properties. What are the document properties? To set the document properties means various settings related to the document. For example, the frame rates, for example, the resolution of the animation, the background color, the scaling, many things are there. When you will open it, you will see the various options are there. So to open the document properties, we have to select the file menu and then come on, select the new option. The new document dialog box is displayed. This is the new document dialog box. Now select the ActionScript 3 option in the type section. Here you will get the type section. Select ActionScript 3 and set your colors and all requirements, and lastly click on OK button. So your document properties are set now. The opening stage will open with all the set properties which you have set in the document properties dialog box. Suppose if you want to change settings of an already open document, a document is already opened, if you want to change the settings, means some settings which you have changed in the properties, now you want to change them. You want to, suppose you want to change the background color. So how to do that? You can also modify the settings of already open documents later on by selecting the modify document option and change the settings as per your need. So you have to refer to the modify menu. There you will get the option document. Select the option, you will get the dialog box, and from there you can set the settings like frame rate and colors, backgrounds, all the things. Now how to start working onto the stage? Drawing an object and grouping outline with fill. So to work onto the stage, you will get the tools panel, from where you will get several tools to work. For the drawing work, you can select the pencil tool. Select the pencil tool from here and you can start your drawing. Select brown as the stroke color. What is a stroke color? A stroke color means color of the lines. The line color is known as the stroke color. Here you can see the stroke color is black. And one more color is there, that is known as the background color. The background color, here the background color is white. The base color of the stage is known as background color, and a stroke color is that color which will display during working with the pencil or line or any other geometrical tools. So here a tree is drawn, leaves, the upper part of the tree is drawn aside, and the lower part, that is the stem and the branches, are drawn separately. Now you can see both the parts are colored using the fill color tool. The fill color tool you will get in the toolbox here only, the fill bucket tool. This is the fill bucket tool, so you can use this tool to fill color. And after selecting this tool, don't forget to select the background and stroke color from here. So select, just click on this color box, the color panel will appear, and select the appropriate color from there for your strokes or backgrounds. So in this way the tree is colored. Now you can see the lower part of the tree is shifted and set along with the upper part of the tree. How it is done? It is done by using the selection tool. Okay, the selection tool. Select the selection tool, double click on the tree trunk, and just a minute, where it is. Yes, select the selection tool, double click on the tree trunk and group them by pressing Ctrl G. Drag the tree trunk over the tree top. Yes, now you can see earlier these were two different parts. The trunk is and the upper part, both are separate. Now we can set them by using the selection tool. Selection tool is used to select the object and to move it anywhere into the stage by dragging the object. Okay, so dragging, holding the mouse button and drag it, move your mouse, that is called dragging. So you can use the dragging process to set the trunk along with the tree, and then you can press Ctrl G to make it a group. Group means now they are a complete object. The two objects are now grouped, they become a complete object, and when you will move them or copy them or delete them, whole object will be, the action will be applied to whole object. That is the meaning of grouping the object. Okay, now to do that, go to modify menu, group option, or press Ctrl G. So this is the shortcut Ctrl G, or you can use the group command by using your mouse from the modify menu. Now applying gradient fill. What is a gradient? Gradient, you can see the leaves of the tree are in two different colors, and both the colors are mixed into each other, that is the green and black. So the mixture of color is called gradient. Understood? So a gradient is a multicolor fill in which one color gradually changes into another color. That is what I am saying. The colors are mixed into each other without any boundary. So that is the feeling of a gradient. Gradient are formed by mixing of two or more colors in an object. Now how you can make the gradients? So the steps are given here. Select the tree using the selection tool. Just select the tree by using the selection tool. Selection tool is like this. Ungroup the selection by pressing Ctrl Shift plus G. Now because we want to color the leaf part only in the form of a gradient, and already we have made the object a group object, so we have to ungroup it first. Otherwise whatever gradient we like to apply onto the leaf part, that will affect the stem part also, trunk part also. So first we need to ungroup the objects by selecting the command Ctrl plus Shift plus G, key combinations, or double clicking on the tree. Double click, just do the double click, it will be ungroup. Select the paint bucket tool. This is the paint bucket tool. Select it, click the fill color swatch to get the color palette. This is the color palette. Okay, select the green gradient color effect from the swatches panel. This is the here you will get the swatches panel, and select the green color and click inside the top of the tree. Select the color from there, the gradient fill color, and just click inside the top of the tree. The gradient color will fill the shape. Now the next part of the chapter is creating a new gradient. Before creating the new gradient, students understand what is a linear gradient and radial gradient. There are two types of gradient you can create, linear and radial. So linear gradients mix the colors in a straight lines. The lines could be horizontal, it could be vertical, it could be diagonal, likewise that. And radial gradients are in the form of circles. As you can see here, the colors are mixed in circular format. So to create a new gradient, choose the window menu and then choose the color option to display the color panel. Now choose either linear gradient or radial gradient from the color type drop down list. Here we have selected the linear gradient. Okay, so here according to the book we are going to know about the linear gradients. If you want to create a radial gradient, just you can select the radial option from this color type. Double click on the left pointer below the gradient definition bar. The color palette appears. Select the brown color. Okay, so from there select the brown color. Double click on the right pointer and select the orange color. Means you have to see the difference between left pointer and right pointer. If you will select the left pointer, the color palette will appear and it will select brown color for the left pointer, and right pointer will select will set for the orange color. Now select the paint bucket tool and click on the trunk of the tree. Then select the paint bucket tool and click on the trunk of the tree. Adjust the color blends of the gradient by moving the pointers closer to each other or farther apart. Select any mode against extend, reflect or repeat color under the flow section to apply to the gradients. To add more colors to your gradient, click anywhere on the gradient definition bar to add a slider pointer. You can then double click this slider to set the color. Means what, students? So these things you can understand more clearly when you will do the practicals, how the selecting of colors reflects onto the object. This can be understand more easily while working on this. So I'll try to make a practical video for you for this. The next point is modifying a linear gradient. Suppose you have created a linear gradient, now you want to modify it, you want to do some changes in the gradient. Means likewise it is vertical this time, you want to make it horizontal, or you want to make it diagonal, or center vertical, center horizontal. Many options are there, so you can all do this. So for doing, click on the small triangle on the bottom right corner of the free transform tool and select the gradient transform tool from the tools panel. So go to the tools panel first, and there is a free transform tool. It will have a small triangle in the button. You have to click on that small triangle, the options will come, and from that options you have to select gradient transform tool. Now click on the object filled with gradient color in it. So after selecting this command, click on to that part of the object where the gradient you want to modify. The gradient selection shape will appear as shown in figure 4.15. so the gradient selection is done. You can see the gradient is selected. There is a rotation handle, width adjustment handle, and this is the center point of the gradient. So if you will move the rotation handle, the gradient will rotate. If you use the width adjustment handle, so it will adjust the width of the gradient, and this button is the center point of the gradient. Means if you want to change the center point anywhere into the object, you can just change the center point and see the effect. The gradient's center point will be changed. So all these things are shown here. You can see by dragging the width adjustment, you can see the width of the gradient is changed. Changing the center of the gradient, the author has changed the center, and you can see the center point was here, now it is here. So according to the center point, the gradient changed. Now changing the width of the gradient, user has did some action with the width adjustment handle, and you can see when it is shifted, how the gradient color is changed. In the same way, you can rotate the gradient. You can rotate it clockwise, anti-clockwise. So accordingly that you will see the effect onto the object. In the same way, you can modify a radial gradient. The steps are: select the gradient transform tool, again from the tools panel. The bundling shape will appear as shown in figure. You can see the shape is appeared. Adjust the gradient as required. Now you can adjust the gradient as required. You can see now here four types of settings you can do: center of the gradient, rotation handle, width adjustment handle, and radius adjustment handle. Now here one more type of adjustment is added, that is the radius adjustment handle. So it will adjust the gradient according to the radius. Okay, but this option you will see only when you are working on a radial gradient. Means if your gradient is not radial, it is linear, then you will not get this option. Now student, let us come and know how to select objects. We are under the topic editing objects. Editing objects means doing some modification into the objects. It could be resizing, it could be converting from one shape to another, increasing or decreasing the shape and size. So all these comes under the editing of the object. If we are working on an object, so many a time we like to select the object, because unless we do the selection, the computer will not know that what do we want to do with any specific object. So to specify that I want to work with this specific object, I have to select this object. So for selection, there is a specific tool given, this arrow like tool. You can use this tool for the selection. Just click on this tool from the tools panel and then click on the object. You will see the object is now surrounded by a border, which indicates that it is selected now. Okay, now transforming the shape. Using the free transform tool, we can scale, rotate, compress, stretch or skew lines and shapes. So transforming tool is used for what? It is used for scaling the object, means increasing the width or increasing the height. It is used to rotate the object, means you can rotate it on its axis. You can compress it, means decrease the size, it will compress. Stretch, increase the size, means stretch it. Or skew lines means you want to make it in the italics form, bended form. You can do it by skewing the shapes. All these things can be done by using the transforming tool, that is the free transform tool. So selection can be done by this tool also. If you want to transform the tool, so select the tool by using the transforming tool. If you want to just select the object for some copy or deletion purpose, so you can just use the selection tool. Now scaling an object, select the free transform tool from the tools panel, double click on the object, double clicked, the object is selected now. To scale the object in both the horizontal or vertical direction, drag one of its corner handles. So you will get a handle here at the corner of the selection, so you can use it. You can drag inside or outside to scale the object smaller or longer, wider. Rotating an object, follow the given steps to rotate or skew the object. Select the object, modify, transform, rotate and skew. So go to the modify menu, choose the transform option and then choose rotate or skew. Now you can see when you will drag the mouse clockwise or anti-clockwise, your object will also start moving accordingly that direction. Okay, so you have to find out this rotation handle onto the object selection. It is here. Just drag the mouse clockwise or anti-clockwise and see the effect. Skewing an object. Skewing an object means slanting the object by a specific angle along with one or both the axes. So if you want to slant the object based on any particular angle, so you can use the skewing command. Just go to the free transform tool, and from the window menu use select transform, click the skew radio button and enter values for skew horizontal or skew vertical. Hover the mouse on the center handle and pointer changes to skew handle, or you can do this manually by using your mouse when your mouse pointer converts to this type of skew handle, or you can done by selecting the commands from the certain menus, the window menu, transform option and skew command. Drag the center handle to skew the object, release the mouse button to end transformation, click outside the selected object. So when you feel that your work is over now, just click outside somewhere the object to deselect it. Flipping an object. You can flip an object in the opposite directions by using the transform tool again. So if you want to flip the objects, select the object by using the selection tool, go to the modify menu, choose the transform option, flip vertical. Flip vertical will flip this object in vertical manner, in up down manner, and flip horizontal will flip them in horizontal manner like this. Okay, so accordingly that choose the appropriate option and see the change in the object. If you want to copy the object, very easy, just select the object and either from the keyboard you can use the key combination Ctrl and C, or from the edit menu select the copy option to copy the object. In the same way, wherever you want to paste it, just go on that particular area and choose, right click there or go to edit menu and choose paste in center. The object will be placed into the center of the stage. Moving an object means shifting the location of the object from one point of a stage to other point of a stage. Suppose like from here to here. So you can, this is called moving of the object. So for that, just select the object and put your mouse pointer over to the object and drag it wherever you like to set it and release the mouse button. Or you can find this four-headed arrow appears next to the arrow, and if you find it, it means that the object is now ready to move. You can move it, drag it to the desired location. So this was a little introduction about transforming tools and selection tools. So we will see them into the practical session. Importing graphics. Importing graphics means this time you are not going to create any object onto the stage. This time you are going to bring any image which is stored in your computer system. So for that you have to choose the import command. Go to file menu, select the import option, then select import to stage. The import dialog box appears. This is the import dialog box. It will appear and will ask you to locate the file which you want to import. After locating the file, the drives, the folders, the directories, after locating the file, click on the open button to open it into your stage. Now students, the next topic of learning is animation in Animate. What is an animation? Animation involves a series of still images, usually painted or sketched, displayed in rapid sequence. This transition from one image to another is so quick that it appears to show movement. To understand this paragraph, student, just imagine your childhood when you have created a simple animation by using your notebook. You have made some dots on the top or at the bottom of the notebook at every page with some differences in every dot. The differences could be the dot's color is changed, or the difference could be the size of the dot is changed. There could be any kind of difference in between every two dots on all the pages. Now after then creating this work, you have flipped the pages from the first page to the last page. Now this shows an illusion of movement of the dot, some kind of movement into the dot. Either the dot is moving from left side of the page to the right side, or it is bouncing onto the seems like it is bouncing, or sometimes it seems like it is changing into a square, then a circle, then rectangle, likewise that. So that is what animation is actually. Animation is playing still images into a sequence, one by one, playing of still images in a series. That is the animation. Animation in Animate is created by changing the content of successive frames. We can make an object move across the stage, increase or decrease its size, fade in or fade out, changing color or shape using an animation. Yes, that what I have told you now. So in this way the animation can be defined. In Animate CC, the software, we can create animations in two different ways. The first way is frame by frame animation, and the second way is twinned animation. What is frame by frame animation? In frame by frame animation, we create an image in every frame, just like you have did in your childhood days. You have created a manual animation by creating drawing on every page. Here also it is telling the same thing. The frame by frame animation, we create an image, we create a drawing in every frame, on every frame, the pages of the Animate. The twinned animation, twinned means changes. The twinned animation, in twinned animation we do not create image in all the frames. We create the images onto the first frame only, that is the starting frame, and the last frame, that is the ending frame. And in between, the software itself creates the motion, that is the twinned animation. So twinned animation is the better way to create the animations in comparison to the frame by frame animation. It is tedious. The twinned animation can be in two forms, can be done in two forms, that is the tint twinning and the shape twinning. Tint twinning means it is used to change the color of an object, means the color of the object is changes from one color to another, from red to blue, from blue to green, likewise that. And shape twinning means changes into the shape of the object. For example, from a triangle to a circle, then to a square, likewise that. So there are two different ways in twinned animation, that is the tint twinning and the shape twinning. Let us understand with an example animation given in the book, that is the changing of this object's color, that is the tint twinning. So for that, first of all we have to create this object, then user has did various color setting related to the object, then user has created some frames, successive frames on user had created the first frame and typed Kips into the work area. Then with the help of selection tools, he has converted the object Kips into a symbol. Symbol is a object which is stored into the library and which could be called again and again many times into the work area. So once you convert it into a symbol, then many times when you require the same object, you can go to the library and double click onto the symbol. You will see the symbol is inserted into your work area. So the user has first created text and then converted into a symbol by selecting the command convert to symbol, or you can also press the shortcut of convert to symbol command, that is the F8 key. When you press F8 key, it will ask you the name of the symbol. Suppose here the user has given the name as text, so you can type any name of your choice and then click on OK button to save it. After then user has selected the frame 30 in the timeline. This is the last frame. First frame is created here, and then select user has created the last frame from the timeline. Here you can see the number 30, and just select it and press F5 to insert a frame. Insert a keyframe in frame 10, frame 20 and frame 30. So in this way you insert all the keyframes, then go to that particular frame number by clicking onto the frames one by one and do some changes into the color property of the object. And later on, when you will completed all the work, then you can click on the test movie command, which is under the control menu, to see your animation effect onto the object. In the same way, to apply the text twinning onto the object, first create the object. As in the book, the object flash is created. The object flash is created one by one and modified, and then you can see the first step is to select frame 1 and choose the break apart option from the modify menu. The letters break into separate blocks. Again select the break apart option. Note the text gets converted into shape. Okay, so here you have to convert the object into a shape first, because it is shape twinning. Now right click on the frame 25 and select insert blank keyframe option. Type some new text and then apply align horizontal center and vertical center on it. Select the text in frame 25. The first frame settings we have done already. Now select the frame 25 and then choose modify menu and then break apart twice. Similarly, select the text on frame 50 and then choose modify, then break apart twice. Now right click between the frame 1 and frame 25 and select the create shape twin option from the context menu. Then right click between the frame 25 and frame 50 and again select the create shape twin option. Select the control and then play option from the main menu to play the animation. So in this way, students, it was just an overview with the help of the book to tell you about what is an animation and what is the different types of animations are there, and what is the concept behind the tint twinning and the shape twinning, what is the history about Animate CC. All this we have come to know in this part of the book. Next, we can also work on the filtered text. We can apply some filters onto the text. Filters are what? Filters enable us to add some interactive visual effects to the text, or buttons, or any movie if you have created. Means you can give some interactive effects to your animation, the objects, like there is a shadow behind it, or it is glowing, or it is a blurry image, or shining, etc, etc. So how to do this? Just select the text tool from the tools panel and type the text wisdom according to your book. Choose the selection tool and then select modify and then break apart. Now convert each letter of your text into a symbol by pressing F8 and select the movie clip type from the convert to symbol dialog box. Here you have to select the option movie clip when you will converting your object into a symbol. You will not select graphics, you will select movie clips. Now select all the letters using the selection tools. Click on the add filter button. Add filter button is like this, a plus symbol with a triangle button under the filter section of the properties panel. Then select the drop shadow, or many other effects are there like blur, glow, bevel, gradient, color. Okay, so from any these options you can select any of the color, and then from the context menu and observe the changes. Whatever you like, just select the option. The settings for the applied filter will appear in the filter section of the properties panel. If you want to do some settings with the filters which you have applied, so for that you have to go to the properties panel. There you will get a filters option. From there you can change the filter settings. Animating filter text. Text is already filtered, created some filters onto the text. Now we are going to fill some animation effect onto that. So for that, author has selected the word wisdom only to do this, and it has called it from the library. Then right click on it and select the distribute to layers. Means the object which is converted into symbols, we want to distribute in different layers first, then we can set the animation. So after selecting the layer of the from the distribute to layers option from the context menu, this will split all the letters into separate layers. So your object will now separated into various layers. Select the layer of the first letter and insert keyframe at the frame 10. Select the layer of the second letter and insert keyframe at frame 20. Repeat this step for all the letters of your text. So author has selected the first text and then inserted a keyframe at frame 10, then selected the second text and inserted a keyframe at frame 20. In the same way, third text at keyframe 30, fourth 40. In the same way, all you have to repeat for each and every letter. Now this was done on the first layer. Repeat the same steps for all the layers. So from the layer panel, here you will get layer panel onto the workspace area. From the layer panel, all the layers are visible there. Whichever layer name you will click, that particular layer will be selected. So from here select the different layer and repeat the same steps. In the way, do the same steps for all the layers, and then after select the keyframe 10 from the first letter and click the letter. Select alpha option from the style drop down list under the color effect. So when you in the color effect option, you will get a style option. Under that you have to select alpha. Now press Ctrl plus enter to preview the animation. Ctrl plus enter is the shortcut of playing the movie, playing the file which you have created. So either press Ctrl plus enter or select play movie option from the control menu. So you will see the effects which you have set during the filtered text animation are now onto your screen. Whatever changes you like to do, you can do it. So this was all about chapter 4, students. I hope you have understood the things clearly. Try to solve the exercises given into the book, and I'll provide you the question answers of this chapter. You'll get it. Thank you, students.